I'm a masculine presenting woman.
And I'm a feminine presenting straight man.
So is this a step forward in breaking down stereotypes of what masculinity might mean?
It's kind of got nighty vibes.
Thank God it was just a dream. Wait, what? Wait, no. It wasn't a dream? You telling me the feminization of men is real? No! I'm just kidding. I don't care about that. I think guys can do whatever they want. The fact that people are getting so worked up and so offended that feminization and that men are choosing to be more feminine is affecting them and making them angry, I think is really fucking bizarre. If I was a traditionally masculine man and other men were becoming feminine, I would be grateful. I would think that was cool because no matter what, there's still going to be a conglomeration of women that still find traditionally masculine men attractive. So who are they going to come to? If you become a scarcity, it's almost like you become famous in a way. It's like if everybody is dyeing their hair black, but yet there's still a large amount of people that are into blondes, and you're the only blonde left, they're gonna come to you, right? So I don't get it. Who the fuck cares if other guys are becoming feminine and doing feminine shit like this? Who cares, right? But I also understand that there is a large myriad of men out there probably watching this video that want to remain traditionally masculine. You grew up watching Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all these guys, and you want to represent that energy, that personality, that genotype of the masculine protector who's strong and confident and is basically an entity of masculine force. So if I wanted to remain as traditionally masculine as possible in a society that is becoming progressively more feminine, this is exactly how I would do it. All right, editor, let's get like, I don't know, maybe like the School of Athens behind me or something. We're philosophers, class is in session. So the very first thing that I would do immediately is to quit pornography. Now, I'm not one of those guys that thinks that like nofap and semen retention has these like mythical powers and is a force of nature, right? There are those people out there, but I do think that it is the biggest distraction to young men that we probably have ever seen before. What it is it's an unnatural reward for absolutely no accomplishment. It used to be that you have this dopamine system that rewards you for going out and seducing a woman in the form of an orgasm and releasing dopamine and serotonin, right? But now you can just log on to Pornhub and, bang that shit out in 20 minutes and you're giving yourself this false reward. And what that does is it sucks your passionate energy from what would have been going into other things and only going into pornography. You ever notice that when you get on a roll of like jerking off, you're thinking about it day after day. Sometimes you're like, oh, I need to do it twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. Yeah, so if you stop that, cut it out, cut that shit out, you will have, I promise you will have a natural transition of your passionate energy from that going into other things like what you're really passionate about, working out, your career. For me, it's YouTube. I totally noticed me being more passionate about YouTube when I stopped. Now, one way that it might differ from the other YouTubers that you guys watch is I actually kind of view masturbation as a utility tool. I think it's something you should only do when absolutely necessary. Maybe you're like in bed and you can't sleep and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're like, I'm not tired at all. You know when you do it, you kind of like get tired. Or if you're incredibly stressed out and you just need like a little like release, a little break, then I think that's okay actually. Call me what you want, but I actually think it's okay in that sense. So that's the first thing I would do, and I would do that immediately. Second thing is I would practice rejection therapy. Now, I actually didn't know what this was, but I actually did it a lot before I had my girlfriend and, back in high school and whatnot. And my girlfriend actually told me about it. I guess it's kind of trending on TikTok. What it is it's practicing getting rejected as much as you possibly can so that when it happens, it doesn't even affect you anymore. You're already desensitized to it. And this is definitely something me and my friends would do. We go talk to girls and get rejected, blah, 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 blah. Probably gotten rejected over 100 times. And it's to the point now where if it were to happen, I wouldn't give a shit at all, right? And this carries over into pretty much everything that you do. If you were to get rejected 100 times trying to make a cold sell, then if it happened one more time, what's the difference? It's already happened 100 times. And each time you're going to adapt a little bit more the way that you talk, the way that you phrase things, to the point where you're probably going to be an expert at it by the 110th time. There's actually people that have done studies on this and experiments. My buddy and fellow YouTuber, his name is Mario Adrione. He actually just talked his way into Coachella, you know, the big music festival. He didn't buy a ticket or anything, but he just went and walked in with the demeanor, the talking, the speech that he knew that he was supposed to be here, and nobody even questioned it. He just walked right in. 90% of communication is non-verbal. So that's the second thing I would do. I'd probably try to get used to rejection and try to get to the point where no negative reaction impacted me anymore. Next, I would start some sort of physical training. There is no confidence that can be built like the confidence of changing your body before your very eyes. Confidence only comes from one thing and one thing only, and that is some sort of positive feedback from success in a certain realm. So if you go to the gym and you put on muscle mass, you prove yourself correct, you are victorious in this, it has a compounding effect on your confidence. Okay, this is like a little side note, I guess. Have you ever wondered why single children always have like the most insane confidence? It's because most of the time, you know, since it's their only child, they baby them and they make them feel like they're the most important person in the world. So they take that into the real world and they feel like they're a fucking celebrity, right? Positive reinforcement. So when you're in the gym, you start feeling the weight getting lighter, you start feeling the force, the energy, the power of your muscles. You feel the strength and you can see the actual denseness of your muscle fibers and the veins, the strength. It's an incredible feeling. There's no confidence boost like it. So getting a gym membership, go start doing MMA, anything. I think lifting weights is probably the most valuable. There's actually been studies done that say that lifting heavy weights actually increases your testosterone significantly. I'll put those up on the screen. Moving on, the next thing that I would do, the one thing that's very common with the masculine man is masculine body language. And we talk about this all the time on this channel. You're probably sick of it, but I think it's so fucking important. If you're walking around on the street and you see a guy with his shoulders up, maybe he's taking small steps, he's not looking people in the eye, you immediately know that he is not a confident man. But if you see the person with expansive body language, he's raising his arms, he's touching his face, he's taking wide steps, he has relaxed facial expression, his eyebrows are down, you immediately subconsciously think that he's a very confident man. So this is the next thing I would do. I would immediately start practicing masculine expansive body language. And there's actually a quote, one of my favorite quotes: it's easier to act your way into a better way of thinking than to think your way into a better way of acting. It's kind of like the fake it till you make it quote. If you start just acting your way into positive, confident thinking, it's far easier than actually just trying to like force your mind into a new way of thinking. Because when you're just thinking about being confident, you're trying to will it inside of your head, you're not getting that positive feedback from your situation, from people around you. But when you're actually doing it and representing it, and you see people looking at you a different way, people responding and treating you differently, it's gonna just compound that confidence. Fifth thing, last thing that I think is probably the most important thing for the masculine man, and that is to embrace struggle. Too many people run from struggle, but the harsh truth is anything worth achieving is going to take a significant amount of suffering and risk. And that's what scares a lot of people off from going after the things that they want. They don't want to put themselves out there and fear the risk of failure. They think that failure will ruin their reputation, ruin their confidence, ruin how people see them. But the fact is, at the end of your life, probably even now actually, you already realize that it's better to live with a failure than it is to live with regret. Because at least if you're living with failure, you know you tried and it didn't work out, that's okay. But if you're living with regret, you will never know what could have been. That's kind of a cliche thing to say, but you know, it's so true. And then I think probably the biggest thing that people don't realize is that even if you fail, there's still victory in that failure. I'm reading this book called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's this guy who survived Auschwitz and Dachau, the concentration camps in Nazi Germany. And one thing that I highlighted in the book is, one could make a victory of any experiences, turning life into an inner triumph, or one could ignore the challenge and simply vegetate, as did a majority of the prisoners. Even though your outer experience is horrific and a terrible tragedy, if you can push on to the next day without letting it destroy your hope and eating you from the inside out and keep your head about you, then that's still victory, and that's something to be proud of. So that's it, guys. How to remain masculine in a feminine society. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace.